Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. We're going to be learning about copyright laws. I think this is one of these topics that's at least a little bit confusing for everyone at first. So we're going to brave it together, and hopefully by the end of this lesson, you're going to understand what copyright is, what it protects, and how to use other people's work the right way. But let's start off with the basics. What is copyright? It's a law that gives creators ownership over the things that they make. So that could be a song, a book, a video, a drawing, a photograph, or like even an email. It means that if someone creates something, they automatically have rights to control how it's used. Meaning that people can't just come take it and use it however they want to. So anytime you see something creative, you should assume it belongs to somebody because it probably does. But what does copyright protect? So it protects all kind of work. It protects writing, like books or articles. It protects music, songs, beats, recordings, movie, videos, artwork, images, video games, like websites. Um, Basically, if somebody has created it using their imagination and their effort, it's most likely protected. So, and this age is very internet heavy age. Nearly everything on the internet is copyrighted just by the fact that it's been made by someone and posted into this tangible format. So you've got to be careful with copyrights because literally nearly everything that you're seeing on the internet is copyrighted. But before we go any further, here are some key vocabulary terms that you're going to hear a lot while we're talking about copyright, so we should go ahead and take a look at those. Creators or authors are the people that make the work. A license is written permission that explains how you may use something. Credit or attribution is naming the creator and source. Public domain is free for anyone to use. Either the copyright has expired, been given up, or it just was never applicable in the first place. Creative Commons is a set of licenses that creators use to share with rules. But what is copyright infringement? So this happens when you break the copyright law. It is basically using a protected work without permission when permission is required. So the common ways that students will accidentally infringe is posting a movie clip with copyrighted music on social media, copying a whole image from Google into a project without checking the rights, or using a popular song as a background for a video montage or a presentation or something like that, which I think this one is a really big one for students, especially because you want music to put behind there and you're not making any money from it, so you're not seeing the harm in that. But even if you don't mean to do something, it doesn't mean that it's not infringement. So when do we need the permission? If you're going to use a full song, a full video clip, or a photo, or artwork of something that you want to share. If you want to print copies of someone else's work and hand it out, you need permission. If you're going to post someone else's work on a website, a blog, or social media, or something like that, you're going to need permission. If you're unsure, the best thing to do is just assume that you do need permission. Okay, so when you're doing your projects and everything like that, we're gonna, give credit, give credit, give credit, give credit. And that's still true. We do need to give credit, but when it comes to copyright, giving credit doesn't equate with permission. So, crediting the creator is respectful and it's required for school, but it does not equate with permission. You will still need permission or a license for some things. It just depends on what it is. For example, to go back to the music, if I was making a presentation on, I don't know, popular artists or something, and I wanted a song by Dua Lipa to play in the background, I couldn't say, hey, this music is by Dua Lipa, and because I've given her credit, it's automatically fine for me to use. It still would not be fine for me to use a full song in that scenario. Plagiarism and copyright infringement often kind of go hand in hand, but they are not the same. Plagiarism is more of an honesty, moral, academic no rule. It's where you're presenting someone else's work as your own. Infringement is breaking copyright law, so it's a legal issue. Um, Often you can do both of these things at the same time, and you can also do them without, you could do one without doing the other. But like, for example, if you credit a photographer, but you haven't gotten permission to use that, and he or she requires that you have permission to use it, you're still infringing. Um, or you can use something from the public domain that's perfectly fine for you to use, is safe, but you didn't credit, and that would be plagiarism. Or any kind of mix of those things. They do go hand in hand a lot, though. Just because it's online does not mean it's free to use. Screenshots, memes, and reposts can still be copyrighted. A lot of popular memes contain copyrighted images, so be careful with that. Everybody loves memes, but we do have to be careful. No one will notice is risky. Platforms can remove content automatically. They have copyright claims for that, for things, so be careful with it. What is fair use? Fair use allows limited use of copyrighted material without permission for purposes like teaching, commentary, criticism, or research. Fair use is not a magic pass, though. It does depend on the situation, and we are going to talk about that in just a second. In school, fair use is more likely when you use only what you need and it supports learning. So here are the 4 things that people consider when talking about fair use. And the first is purpose. Is it for teaching, learning, or for entertainment and or money? The amount. Did you use a small piece, or did you use the heart, or like the main part of the work? The nature of it. Is it creative or mostly factual? Um, like a song, art, or a piece of a documentary or something like that. The effect. Would using this hurt the creator's ability to sell it? So the more fair use friendly something would be, it would be more educational purposed. You would be using a smaller amount, and using that piece or for the purpose that you used it would not harm the original or replace the original. Here are some examples. Using 1 or 2 lines from a book to analyze a theme in class, that's more likely to be fair use. Posting an entire chapter online for your friends, that's not likely to be fair use. Using a short clip to review or critique a video, more likely to be fair use. Uploading a full movie scene because it's cool, not likely to be fair use. So if you were to take each of these things and analyze why and why not, you'd see that with the first one, we're analyzing a book for class. So this is educational purposes. And it's also a very small amount, it's 1 or 2 lines. It's not going to be the heart of the full work, and analyzing these couple lines for a class is not doing any monetary damage to the work or the author or anything like that. But if you see posting a full chapter online for your friends, it's not explicitly stating there's anything educational in that. Also, you're posting a full chapter, so um, it's a good portion of it, and you could potentially be preventing someone from buying this work because they have access to this online. Um, so it's just a compilation of these four factors that we're looking at here to determine whether something is fair use or not. How much is too much? There's not a hard, fast rule on um, brevity. There are suggestions, and kind of some people will swear by 10% or less, or 30 seconds or less when it comes to audio or video. But um, things can be like different like your presentations, your works and things that you post can be taken down for less material than that. It's really just up to um, the people who are flagging the content for copyright issues. So instead of clinging to the 10% or the 30-second rule or things like that, it's just better to go with your gut with using as small a portion as you can. So better choices would be a small short quote with your explanation, a small clip used to analyze or critique, a low resolution image for discussion with citation. But if you are going and you're posting full songs, full movies, full chapters, compilation videos, these things are riskier choices, are more likely to get flagged for copyright infringement. Licenses. So this is permission in writing. A license tells you that you can do something. So examples would be, you may use this for a school project with credit, or no edits are allowed with this, or this is only for non-commercial use. So always check where you're allowed to use it, whether that's school or public usage, whether edits are allowed, and whether credit is required. The Creative Commons are the licenses that let creators say, hey, you can use this as long as you do these specific things. And there are 6 different types of licenses with these different acronyms. So we have CC BY, which just means that the content creator gives you permission to use their work as long as there's credit involved, or you give them specific credit for this. But you can edit, you can remix, you can do whatever as long as credit is given. CC BY SA builds on that, so you can do it as long as you're giving credit and you are doing with you are remixing with items of the same license, so share alike. CC BY NC would be give credit, but only for non-commercial use. You wouldn't be able to do something for monetary value. CC BY NC SA would be share alike, give credit, and non-commercial use. CC BY ND would be give credit, but no derivatives, so you wouldn't be able to remix it or change it. CC BY NC CCBYNC&D would be give credit, no derivatives, and no commercial use. And whenever usually you can find these acronyms next to things. So if you go on YouTube or something, a lot of times there will be these little abbreviations right next to the video, telling you what you're able to do and not do with that content. And the same goes for images and papers and things like that. Public domain means that something is free to use. There are no copyright restrictions. So works can be public domain because they don't have a copyright. They've never had a copyright. It could be that the creator chose to release it, or that copyright has expired. You can use these works freely, but you're still required to give credit. Where can you find safe to use images? So you can start with school-approved image libraries. These are going to be safe. Um, Creative Commons licensed images, you are able to filter. Now, I'm not going to recommend that you go and Google search, but if you were to Google search, you could filter through those searches with Creative Commons, and that would help your search. So you would be able to look at items that only have Creative Commons. You can also look through public domain images. And always make sure that you save your source link so that you can credit correctly. Music and video, the most common trouble spot. Background music and videos is often copyrighted, and even 10 seconds can be flagged. So safer choices would be royalty-free or CC licensed music, music that you created yourself, or school-provided audio libraries. Some platforms offer approved audio libraries. YouTube does. I'm sure there are other platforms that do. Those are safe, and you won't get flagged for those. Remixes, memes, and edits. A remix or edit is a derivative work. Permission is usually required for this. Some memes, like we talked about, are copyrighted images with added text, so you would need permission to use many of them. If your remix uses a lot of the original work, especially music and video, it's less likely to be allowed. For best practices, use CC licensed media or make your own media to remix. Copyright and school projects. These things here are usually okay for class. Small excerpts for analysis, images for teaching and learning with citation, quoting sources with explanation and bibliography. But be careful whenever you're uploading to public websites, submitting to contests, or posting to social media or video platforms. If you have any questions, I will be around. But if not, I'm going to turn you back over to your teacher. Thank you.